My brother never wanted to get married, but our parents took a big risk having me late in life just to keep the family name going. Mom died giving birth to me and Dad just disappeared. So I bounced between my aunt's and uncle's place until I turned 7. All the relatives finally hit their limit and took it to court, demanding my brother take custody of me the day the court ruling came in. I struggled but managed to drag my tiny suitcase, my hands shaking, as I grabbed onto my brother's arm outside the courthouse. The man frowned and turned around, and I saw my brother for the very first time. His eyes were full of resentment and ice cold, looking down at the hand gripping his sleeve. His perfectly pressed suit now had a tiny wrinkle where I grabbed it. My hand trembled under his warning glare. I wanted to pull back out of fear, but what are you making that face for? Jake, the court order already came through. You think you can still weasel out of this? My uncle said sternly, holding up the ruling. Our parents are gone. The oldest brother should step up like a father. It's been 7 years already. You should have been raising your little brother a long time ago. I have no other choice and I can't even support myself. My hand gripping my brother's sleeve was shaking with fear, but I still didn't dare let go. But his face twisted with disgust and he shoved me away. His cold eyes cut to my aunt and uncle. His voice sharp as a blade. Wasn't it the Sullivans who kicked me out? Where are my parents? Where is this little brother you speak of? My uncle went silent for a moment. Then go argue with the court about it. Emma is legally yours now. Don't even think about dumping her back on us. I froze in place, head down, not daring to make a sound. The temperature had dropped and the wind was fierce, but my face felt like it was burning. My clenched hands kept shaking. My palms were soaked with sweat. I knew nobody wanted me. My brother glanced at me coldly one more time and let out a scoff. He seemed done wasting time and just left me there, walking straight to his car parked nearby. He slammed the door and the car started up. Just as it was about to pull away, my aunt's face went dark. She and my uncle rushed over and she shoved me hard in her anger. What are you standing there like an idiot for? Aren't you gonna go after him? You think this dead weight is gonna keep clinging to me? Help me. I was knocked flat on the ground. Everything went black for a second, but I had no time to feel the pain. I scrambled up in a panic, and when I looked over, my aunt had already thrown herself in front of my brother's car, pressed against it, pounding both hands on the hood. Have you no shame? Your own brother making all that money, driving a fancy car, and he's breaking the law, refusing to raise his little brother. More and more people started looking over. A crowd slowly gathered. My aunt's crying got louder and my uncle started shouting his complaints to everyone around. The crowd grew and the noise kept rising. It started disrupting the courthouse. A judge came out trying to calm things down. My aunt and uncle wouldn't even acknowledge him, so the judge walked up to my brother's window and knocked on the glass. Finally, the window rolled down, revealing my brother's face tight with tension, his hands gripping the wheel, veins showing on the back of his hands. Mr. Sullivan, do you need our assistance? Isn't he the forensic examiner? Didn't he help crack that big case last month? A famous examiner like that must be making good money. You mean he really won't take care of his own little brother? The murmuring mixed with my aunt and uncle's yelling and my brother's furious face slowly turned a shade paler with humiliation. He looked at me with a tight face. Get in, I was startled with sudden relief and confusion. Dragging my suitcase, I rushed to the back of the car, struggling and fumbling. I couldn't get the trunk open. The crowd just watched for entertainment. Nobody offered to help me. I gripped the handle tight and had no choice but to bring the whole suitcase into the back seat with me before I even sat down properly. My brother hit the gas and the car practically shot forward. Caught off guard, I slammed hard into the back of the front seat, suitcase and all. Stars burst in front of my eyes, my nose stung and tears just spilled out. In the rearview mirror, I saw my brother's face dark and full of bitterness. The pain made my head spin and his cold voice reached me faintly. You're just like them. I didn't understand. I just sat there trembling, clutching the suitcase with what little strength I had. Always the best at playing dumb, playing pitiful. I still didn't fully get it, but I knew for sure it wasn't a compliment. I twisted my hands together nervously. Out of the corner of my eye, I caught sight of a photo hanging from the mirror. The windows were all cracked open. The wind blew through, making the photo sway silently. I could make out a stranger's face, a young woman, maybe 17 or 18 with very pale skin. Her smile was beautiful. I didn't dare look too long. Just one glance and I lowered my head. My stomach started churning. Right when I thought I couldn't hold it in anymore, the car suddenly slammed to a stop. We had pulled up at some apartment complex. I shoved the door open and jumped out. I ran to a trash can and threw up violently when I turned back around. My brother still hadn't gotten out of the car. I walked over carefully. Through the half-open window, I saw his pale, distant profile. He was wiping something with a handkerchief, the photo of that young woman hanging in the car. She must have meant a lot to him. He was cleaning it so carefully. His expression was gentle, but only for a moment before the coldness returned. He opened the door and got out. I dragged my suitcase, carefully following him into the elevator and upstairs. When we reached the entryway, worried about dirtying the floor, I quietly slipped off my shoes. My brother led me to a room tucked in the far corner of the first floor. He didn't even look back at me. Probably too disgusted, he just muttered, "Go in and stay there, don't go out unless you have to. Try not to let me see you too much." I nodded immediately. I was about to push the door open when a little girl's voice suddenly rang out behind me. Big brother Hushi, my hand on the handle shook violently. I turned around and saw a very thin, almost ghostly pale face. She looked about my age, holding a porcelain doll. Her dark eyes stared straight at me like I was some monster invading her territory. Full of guarded hostility, I instinctively felt scared and stepped back. but my brother's cold face suddenly softened. He took off his own jacket, walked over and draped it over her thin shoulders, then knelt down, grabbed slippers, and put them on her bare feet. "Big brother, I'm scared. Can you make her not stay here?" Jake gently patted her head. "This is a relative I'm sponsoring, Lily, just let it go." I had no idea why he let this other kid call him Big Brother or who this little girl even was. I just felt so uneasy that I worked up the courage to speak quietly. "Big brother, I really have nowhere else to go." The little girl started crying softly. Jake turned around and glared at me furiously. "I'm not your brother, didn't I already tell you? Go in and don't come out." I didn't dare say another word. Fumbling in a panic, I pulled the door open and went into the room. I shut the door, but the crying outside kept going. Nobody had ever comforted me like that. I just thought the way my brother soothed her sounded so gentle. Most of the room was still full of junk. A small bed in the corner looked like it had been squeezed in as an afterthought. I lay down on it and looked out the window at the pitch-black night. I couldn't even remember how many places I had lived by now. My brother hated the Sullivan family, and hated me too just for being one of them, but honestly, nobody in the Sullivan family had ever liked me either, or treated me like family. Mom died right after giving birth to me. Dad couldn't accept having a son and took his anger out on me for a whole year. Then he ran off with a pregnant woman and never came back after that. I was like a ball getting kicked around by relatives who couldn't stand me. I tried so hard to prove I was useful. I helped my uncle move stock at his shop, changed diapers, and did laundry for my aunt's grandson on the way to and from school. I collected bottles to sell, using that money to help pay for tuition each semester. I swallowed my pride and begged teachers for a little extra help. My aunt's grandson hurt me once while playing rough. A nurse suspected abuse and quietly asked if she should call the police. Even through gritted teeth from the pain, I smiled and told her. It was just my own clumsiness. I tried every way I could to please everyone. I survived 7 years bouncing between relatives, eating barely anything. Spending almost no money but not being wanted is not being wanted. In the end, they just couldn't take it anymore, even if it meant going to court to get rid of me. I tossed and turned, wrapped in the blanket, still feeling cold. Still feeling empty, like I had forgotten something. Why did it feel so hollow every time I moved somewhere new over the years? I always felt this way, even though everything I owned was really just a few worn-out clothes. There used to be some books too, but my aunt said your brother should buy you new ones for your new school. Before we even went to court, she sold my books and bought her grandson candy with the money. I pulled my thoughts back and got out of bed. I took out those 2 old shirts from my suitcase and held them close as I lay back down. It felt like I finally found a little bit of comfort. My head felt hazy and heavy. I felt hot and cold at the same time. Maybe I had a fever. I seemed to get sick all the time, a doctor once told me. Mom had me when she was already pretty old, that's why my health was never great. I curled up trying to hug myself, but I was still cold. While I shivered all over, there was a knock on the door. That little girl's voice came through, "Come out. Big brother wants you." My head was spinning badly. I got out of bed. My feet felt like they were stepping on cotton. Dazed, I followed her upstairs. She opened a door. I followed her in, but I didn't see my brother anywhere. It looked like a study with bookshelves. A picture frame had fallen on the floor beside one. The glass looked shattered, and I saw a familiar face on it. It was the same young woman from the photo in the car, but this frame held a black and white photo. Before I could look closer, the girl suddenly let out a scream.